Logan is a special film. In the sea of superhero movies, Logan finds its own voice and stands above its competition. A lot of this is due to the film's brutal and gut-wrenching violence, but this also comes from its confidence, investing in characters and themes as opposed to convoluted plots and bombastic action. Logan is an achievement, both commercially and critically, but I think it's more than that. I think that Logan is a turning point for the superhero industry, and for that matter, Hollywood as a whole. But before we get to that, I want to ask how we got here, how superheroes became the currency of blockbuster filmmaking. While the internet and the rise of movie fandom are certainly factors, I think the key to the superhero boom has been the surging of ticket prices. Back in my Disney video, I introduced a concept called the 6-ticket rule, meaning that in a given year, the average household will go to the theater 6 times. Because of the high prices of this limit, the consumer will be very conservative on the films they see in the theater, so moviegoers will prioritize sequels to movies they love, or whether the movie contains a certain amount of action and comedy for their guaranteed enjoyment. And so with that logic, welcome to Hollywood. We make superhero movies. Don't get me wrong, the studios take risks, but they all fundamentally understand that to succeed in this industry, you need a stable blockbuster franchise leading the charge. And so every year we see up to 6 comic book films dominating the box office. While this approach has led to certain franchises achieving record success, I think this has also left 2 major consequences on the entire industry. For one, a lot of America's favorite genres have left the silver screen, finding homes on more malleable platforms. The second is the derivative nature of these films, how all of our blockbusters feel the same. Now, these films have a wide variety of quality, but their goals and restrictions are nearly identical. They all have the same sense of humor, similar plot devices, and recycled action sequences. Most of us as moviegoers have felt this, and it's why every time I go in a movie forum, I hear of the superhero bubble and when it's gonna pop. However, change is in the air, and the first wave of that change was last year's Deadpool, which managed to go head-to-head with the year's mightiest comic book films, despite its reduced budget and R rating. A lot of people feared what this would do to the industry, including Guardians of the Galaxy director James Gunn. Last year, Gunn warned that Hollywood would take away the wrong lessons from Deadpool, emphasizing its R-rating, crudeness, and fourth wall breaking, not its cleverness and ingenuity. However, it seems Fox have learned the right lessons from Deadpool with their latest film, Logan. Just like Deadpool, Logan has a reduced budget and R rating, but this time its goals aren't to satirize or break the fourth wall. Instead, Logan uses the rating to become a full-on Western. The Western aspects of this film are fully engraved in the film's DNA, with director James Mangold being a veteran of the genre, as well as the film's multiple references to George Stevens' classic Western Shane. The film takes full advantage of its barren landscapes and dreary heroes, and delivers an atmosphere unlike any superhero movie. These themes of deterioration and loss of innocence consume the superhero dynamics, and don't let up till the credits roll. Logan is the first superhero movie to completely transform into a separate genre. Of course, Logan is not the only superhero film to operate in a separate genre. In fact, superheroes have a long history of experimentation. If we examine the Marvel Cinematic Universe, we can see a wide variety of genres at play. The first Avenger is a fun adventure serial, while The Winter Soldier is at its best when it embraces its political thriller aesthetic, with Cap not knowing who to trust. And while The Avengers is an epic action film, I honestly think it has more in common with a television sitcom.
Loki is beyond reason, but he is of Asgard, and he is my brother.
He killed 80 people in 2 days.
He's adopted.
Despite this experimentation, I do think that the genre, and the MCU in particular, are full of half measures. For example, Ant-Man is a heist film in theory, but when it comes to humor, aesthetic, and action sequences, it still feels like your typical superhero movie. You're going to see a lot less of this, and a lot more films like Logan going forward. The main reason why is the competitive nature of the genre. While Deadpool was a major hit for Fox, X-Men Apocalypse was a disappointment. Apocalypse didn't offer anything new to the superhero environment, and so audiences didn't show up. In this environment, taking no risks is the greatest risk of all. We can see the effects of this already, with Wonder Woman taking place in the trenches of World War I, and Spider-Man Homecoming being sold as a John Hughes-inspired comedy. You also have the most anticipated superhero film of the year, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, which has its roots in multiple genres while having a unique voice of its own. These films will live or die on how well they speak to their genres and their individual voices. With Logan, the creative decisions taken in terms of how they handle the genre complement these characters and their decades of history in the comics. It's important that these elements are compatible. Having Spider-Man in a slasher horror film doesn't make any sense, but having him in a high school comedy does, given the history of the character. These comics often drew from genre filmmaking for inspiration, and now they'll define them on the silver screen.
You guys are losers.
We're in a superhero market, there's no denying that. But we have to remember that at the helm of these films are passionate and creative filmmakers, who at the end of the day just want to make a good movie. We have a plethora of comic book films ahead of us this year, and I'm excited to see what they have in store for us. Good luck.